Before I begin this video, I just want to let you know that this video may touch on some parts of mental health at times throughout the video, so if it triggers you in any way, please click off. Otherwise, stick around and we shall continue. Life. It's stressful. I get it. We're all on the same boat here. Bills, work, your well-being, your relationships, your sleep patterns, quite a lot of things that become stressful and can get you down. That's the part where you look for ways to relieve stress or even keep you busy, such as gym, yoga, raging at a video game.
Like a parachute!
Or even meditation, which for most people is Call of Duty these days.
You're garbage! What?
It's been proven by a 2023 study based on mobile phone usage that Americans, in this case, check their phones 144 times a day. Now, with what I just told you, I want you to think about social media. I'm not even going to say, oh, look how popular TikTok is. No. Instead, I want to say how many times people compare each other to other people, as I recently talked about this at my university course. So why is that part important? Well, other than the fact that people can't stand not always having their phone with them, think how many times we've actually compared ourselves to other people, which then leaves us feeling more depressed than usual. And sometimes, we even lose sleep over things that aren't worth losing sleep over. People always treat their achievements small if someone has achieved something that seems very big to them. So for example, person A has passed their driving lesson. And bought themselves a car. Just a regular car. Doesn't care about the looks or the price. If you could get the person from point A to point B in a matter of minutes, then that's all that matters. Meanwhile, person B has bought their second expensive car, whilst having garage space full of said cars as well. So, whilst person A looks at what person B has achieved, and mainly through social media as well, person A starts to feel small about what they've done, even though that's one of their biggest achievements they've had in their life. This is just one example of comparing ourselves, but there are many. All of these examples can drive one person into a downward spiral, thus entering their own dark void of depression and anxiety. Hi, welcome to a new video. Today, we're uncovering a puzzle game that not too many people have heard of, unfortunately. And if you were to ask people, what puzzle game do you have in mind? Well, you should expect an answer such as Tetris anymore. We're taking a look at Kurushi Final, or, as it's known in Japan and America, IQ Intelligence Cube Final. And the reason for this one in particular is basically because Kurushi Final includes content from the first entry, and has then added even more content to the game. New characters, 3 new modes, and a new soundtrack. Like the previous video essay, we'll be starting off with the history part first, and then making our way down to the conclusion. So join me as we solve the metaphorical puzzle of life, or at least, like, the analogy of it, because holy shit. I've done my best to give myself lots of research upon this game, like provide what I've found, but I'm pretty sure that most of its history and development have either been lost in the archives or just wasn't recorded as much at all. So I'll do my best to explain this part. But this is one example as to why preservation is important, regardless of games, movies, music, or even behind the scenes and developer diaries, as we'd love to see its development cycle of a particular project and the effort put into said projects as well. So, here we go. This game was designed by Masahiko Sato, a professor at the Tokyo University of the Arts, who are known for their renowned artists in the field of painting, sculpture, crafts, intermedia, sound, music composition, traditional instruments, art curation, and global arts. I've highlighted these words that relate to art and media because that's mainly what the game covers. You can tell that the game is more than a game. It's a game with an art vision that can be overlooked. Unless you beat the game and witness the ending, of course. So let's talk about the gameplay first.
First stage.
Yep, so this is Kurushi. You're here, in the void, standing on the platform, with these giant cubes ready to crush you. Unless you do something about it, of course.
Hey, yo, where the fuck am I?
So that's genuinely how you play the game. You have a set of cubes in the format of a grid, and you want to capture the cubes to get your character past the set and advance to the next set and next round. Pretty simple, right? Sure. But I didn't say you had to capture all the cubes.
I can't see! Where the fuck am I?
Yeah, I should have mentioned what these cubes are and what they do. So, let me explain. Here are what's called a normal cube. Pretty self-explanatory. These are the cubes that you can capture to form a path past your set. And this is a forbidden cube. And these are the ones you'll want to avoid at all costs. Because if you hit a single one, not only will you hear that awful sound that sounds like you survived the rubble, but you'll also lose a single row of the platform, which you need to stay on the course. Now yes, this all sounds stressful and you're wondering,
Well, how the fuck am I gonna get all the normal cubes in time?
well, with these. This is an advantage cube. When you capture the cube, you'll see a green marker in the middle of the set. This is used to capture multiple cubes in an area of effect, usually 3x3. So yeah, you will be able to get all the normal cubes in time and get past the set in time as well. Just don't step danger close to it, of course.
Again!
Now you're probably wondering, am I playing a puzzle game or a horror game? Both? Yeah, both. This type of gameplay really keeps you on the edge of your seat, as it'll seem like a walk in the park at first, but then it gets more intense, and the puzzles become more challenging to figure out, whilst being pretty short on time with each step the cube set takes, leaving you with shorter distance to walk on the platform. Looking at the demo for Kurushi, and not Kurushi Final, this game really scared the shit out of me as a kid, and for good reason. The menu sounds are so loud and terrifying. Hearing the ominous music when you enter the stage, which sounds like death is coming soon. And just the fact that there's no background music at all. And it's nothing but stomping as you're doing the puzzle. And when I messed up, I actually ran away from the console. It was too terrifying for little me that I waited for my character to eventually perish so that I could come back to the demo menu. This game is mainly the reason why I don't check out other puzzle games anymore. Okay, maybe accept that one. But I'm mainly talking about the fact that I can't find any puzzle games that give you such an intense feeling, but also a feeling of if you fuck this up, you are done for. Now no, I'm not asking for every puzzle game to be like this at all, but I'm just simply trying to showcase how unique this particular puzzle game is. Whether it came out during its time or even in today's times, there's no other puzzle game that can replicate this piece at all. It really stands out from other puzzle games such as the tile matching puzzle games or bowling block puzzle games. Although, to be fair, most puzzle games during the PS1 era were quite unique themselves. The sound design in this game basically gives you the lesson of less is more with its dynamic gameplay. There isn't a huge list of sound effects compared to something like your classics such as Resident Evil, Ace Combat, and Silent Hill, and yet it still provides more than a regular AAA game. I'm not talking about the current AAA games today, I'm talking about how AAA games were at the time. So, just to clarify before someone starts typing on Twitter or my YouTube comments like, what you mean you're wrong. From its footsteps to the giant cube stomps, which helps with imagining yourself, the player, being on your character's footsteps, which definitely isn't a good time. And the satisfaction of capturing the cubes and completing a set, whilst having a god, I think, assess your skills with great, perfect, and excellent. All the while, these sounds echo into the surreal world, giving the feeling of a completely empty space. Your only way out is to problem solve your way through. As for the soundtrack, different stages provide different feelings towards you. Each piece of the score provides calm, intense, anxiety, satisfaction, and fear, and you'll be in for an absolute ride of an emotional roller coaster, as you'll be going up and down with these feelings depending on how you play the game. The reason being, the game's soundtrack is dynamic in terms of how well you're doing, which obviously provides dynamic reactions towards our brain, showing results of our emotions, and, as the game states, our IQ, our intelligence, our mental test of solving puzzles. With both the sound design and the soundtrack combined, the sound and gameplay really emphasizes that you, the player, signed up for this mental test, and that you must guide the characters through their mental state as well. Now, who composed the soundtrack? Well, ladies and gentlemen, Takayuki Hattori. Oh my god. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Takayuki Hattori. The man known for many Godzilla soundtracks during the 80s and 90s, and other projects such as the recent Doraemon films and the recent Gundam films as well. So, not only do you have giant cubes to worry about, but you have Godzilla with gigantic drums, Space Godzilla with a gigantic trombone, and Mogera with a giant violin to worry about as well, as they also judge your gameplay and skills. Okay, gotta be honest. I don't want to use the word unique again, so let me find a different word. Ah, perfect. The design from its concepts to the final execution is absolutely distinctive. Yes, that's the word I picked. Its gameplay mechanics, art direction, score, soundtrack, everything makes this game incredibly distinctive. Okay, I used it twice. It's something we've never seen before, especially when most puzzle games such as Puyo Puyo, Tetris, and Blocker were incredibly popular at the time, especially with how colorful, vibrant, and cheerful these games are, whilst becoming more difficult at level 20, let's say. But you get the idea. But this is so much more different. From the void surreal world to the orchestra intimidating you, whether you're doing well or nearly fucked, to the cubes being insanely larger than you, that you start to feel like the person in the situation itself. And don't even get me started with the forbidden cubes either. It's intriguing, as it's something you've never seen before. It's frightening, as you question yourself how you got into this mess in the first place. And it's also relieving when you get through a stage, but then it's sympathetic when you fail the character and they fall to their death, especially with the first game's game over jingle. From first glance, you would think this way, of course, but Okay, I'm going to quickly interrupt and say that if you would like to beat the game to see the ending, please either click off the video or skip this part with the timestamp here. Other than that, let's continue. So when you beat the game as the first character, you'll see this ending.
Having left this surreal world to return to everyday life, you might feel as if nothing had changed. But there has been one major change: you yourself. Your trials have given you courage and decisiveness. In the surreal world of Kurushi, you are exposed to trials in many forms, and in the ordinary world in which we live, there are also many hidden trials lurking. The courage and decisiveness you have gained will serve you well no matter what obstacles you face in the future. Good luck.
Now keep in mind, the speech is the same for each character's ending, but each of them have different outcomes. Yes guys, this game is one big analogy about life and how we problem solve in life in order to build up courage and come across obstacles you'll face in the future, as the man says. With the use of the trials or stages that you've gone through in the surreal dreamlike world, you are now able to use these practices to get yourself through many hardships you'll face in life. And just like being the game, overcoming that obstacle is all worth it in the end. With all the things I mentioned that puts you in a roller coaster of emotions, it's supposed to. That's the way the game was designed. It's supposed to make you feel these emotions the same way the character feels. The game is challenging, the same way life can be challenging, with the problems we face in our real world. The game also tests your IQ, as it's in the name, but also your abilities of how you solve these problems. And being the game shows that you've passed the test. You know how to get through problems in life, and that you should use these skills for future obstacles that may get in your way. This game provides a clear message of life, obstacles, and becoming better, which I absolutely love. Most games that I play nowadays always consist of burying ourselves to help us better our future and giving us hope. Especially with the recent stories I've gone through, such as Tekken 8, Final Fantasy VII Original, Metal Gear Solid 3, although the ending was very bittersweet and traumatizing for Snake. Even other games such as Final Fantasy 16, especially with like accepting ourselves, and even the Yakuza series, especially their sub-stories. But either way, I love stories like this as it always motivates us to be better. And I'm going to mention God of War in this, or at least God of War 2018 to Ragnarok, as we always see moments of Kratos accepting what he's done in the past, bettering himself no matter what people remind him of what he used to be before, and always saying, "Do not be sorry, be better." To Atreus, stories that consist of becoming better and providing hope is something we need to talk about more nowadays, instead of being bitter via social media or just life in general, or even just playing games that are consistently depressing most of the time.
Someone here! Sweep this place, go! Up there!
Why do you want his family? The fuck is wrong with you?
I wouldn't know where to begin.
There are two conclusions I want to rule out here. One, this game is an absolute masterpiece. Whilst I wouldn't recommend the first title as there isn't much content and it's just one character with a few stages, the first game is still good and a kickstart to a concept that the professor has designed and executed, which later came to Kurushi Final, with more content such as new modes, new characters, different endings, and even something called tectonics, which I've only just found about now as of typing this. I have no idea how you get to those stages. I'd assume you have to play incredibly well and make only a couple of mistakes, but other than that, I have no goddamn idea. This is an underrated gem, and I wish this game had more attention than our regular classics that we still recognize and love today. 2. There are always obstacles, situations, and problems that come at us out of nowhere in life, and they can get stressful, irritating, and mostly upsetting, because you wish they would end, but you must perceive these things as challenges, or tests even. Whilst life is a never-ending cycle, problems are too, and as you go through life, you learn to deal with these issues, and by learning to deal with said issues, you not only feel strong about yourself, but you start to feel satisfaction that you're glad to get yourself out of situations, and you carry this knowledge with you for future problems that may lie ahead. Most people give up without realizing how close they are to their goal, and you shouldn't. The reward is so worth it in the end. So fight through your challenges and let nothing stop you or get in your way. Thank you everyone for watching this video. If you made it this far, then wow, thanks. I did not know you'd want to listen to me like yapping for 20 minutes. I sometimes get surprised about how much people want to hear about what forgotten game I'd love to talk about, and how people just love the sound of my voice. You're welcome. If you'd like to play this game and experience it for yourself, I can give you some sources here. For PS3 and PS Vita users, the game is £3.99, $4.99, €4.99. For PS4 and PS5 users, the game is £7.99, $9.99, and €9.99. Or, of course, if you don't want to bother buying consoles to play the game, emulation is also a good shout. But if you're a collector, like me, and would like to have this game on your shelf, the prices are quite insane for the Western audience, which is why I bought the Japanese import of the game, as I can play Japanese imports with my modded console. But if you'd still like to buy this, despite how pricey it may be, knock yourself out. I just want people to play this game and finish it. It's absolutely incredible and my absolute favorite puzzle game of all time. Nothing can ever replace this. Thank you for watching, and be sure to tune in next time where we go to war. Oh no, it's not that brutal war, is it?